Hey there, happiness seekers. Welcome to Elevate Daily, where we seek to give advice that can make your lives brighter and more fulfilling. Let me ask you something. Have you ever achieved something big, only to feel strangely empty afterward? You hit the goal, you got the promotion, you reached the milestone, you proved people wrong. And instead of lasting joy, you felt relief, or pressure, or the quiet thought, okay, what's next? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Today, we're talking about something that doesn't get discussed enough: why high achievers secretly struggle with happiness. And if you consider yourself ambitious, driven, or goal-oriented, this conversation might change the way you see your own mind. If you value these kinds of deeper, reflective conversations about happiness, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Elevate Daily. We're building a space for honest growth, not surface-level motivation. Now let's begin. On the outside, high achievers look like they have it all together: disciplined, focused, productive, resilient. But internally, many of them are running on a system that doesn't allow peace. Here's why. Achievement is powered by dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical. But contrary to popular belief, dopamine isn't about pleasure, it's about pursuit. It spikes when you anticipate success. It pushes you toward the goal. It motivates action. But once the goal is achieved, dopamine drops. And here's the problem. If your identity is built around achievement, your brain quickly moves the goalpost. You don't sit in the success. You chase the next target. That cycle feels productive, but it rarely feels satisfying. High achievers often live in what psychologists call the arrival fallacy, the belief that happiness will arrive once the next milestone is reached. I'll relax when, I'll feel good when, I'll be proud when. But when arrives, it quietly shifts. Now here's something important. There is nothing wrong with ambition. Growth is healthy. Goals are meaningful. Striving builds competence. The issue isn't achievement itself. It's when achievement becomes your only source of worth. Many high achievers develop their drive early in life. Sometimes it came from praise, sometimes from comparison, sometimes from needing to prove themselves. Over time, performance becomes safety. Success equals validation. Failure equals threat. And that wiring runs deep. Research on perfectionism shows that people with high personal standards often tie their self-esteem directly to performance outcomes. That means their emotional stability fluctuates with external results. That's exhausting, because life is unpredictable. Even the most disciplined person cannot control every outcome. Another reason high achievers struggle with happiness is what's called hedonic adaptation. Humans quickly adjust to improved circumstances. The salary increase feels amazing, for a while. The new apartment excites you, temporarily. The recognition feels validating, briefly. Then it becomes normal, and your brain says, okay, what's next? Without intentional gratitude or presence, success turns into a baseline expectation, and expectations quietly rob joy. Now let's talk about something even deeper. High achievers often struggle with rest, not because they don't need it, but because rest feels uncomfortable. If your nervous system is used to constant productivity, slowing down can feel like failure. Silence can feel like wasted time. Stillness can feel like laziness. But here's the paradox. The same brain that thrives on productivity needs recovery to experience happiness. Without downtime, cortisol, your stress hormone, remains elevated. Chronic stress blunts serotonin and dulls your ability to feel pleasure. In simple terms, if you never let your system downshift, joy becomes harder to access. Another hidden factor? Comparison. High achievers rarely compare downward. They compare upward. No matter how successful they become, they look towards someone who has more, achieved more, built more. and comparison hijacks satisfaction. Studies consistently show that relative status impacts happiness more than absolute success. In other words, how you think you're doing compared to others affects your mood more than your actual achievements. So even when you're objectively doing well, your brain might still whisper, "Not enough." Now here's a question worth sitting with. If you removed achievement from the equation, who are you? That question can feel unsettling, because many high achievers have never had to define themselves beyond performance. But identity built only on productivity is fragile. When work slows, when failure happens, when life forces a pause, there's an identity vacuum. That's often when anxiety or dissatisfaction surfaces. But here's the hopeful part. The traits that make high achievers successful can also make them deeply fulfilled, if redirected. Discipline can become consistency in self-care. Drive can become commitment to relationships. Focus can become presence. The shift isn't about becoming less ambitious. It's about expanding your definition of success. Instead of asking, "What did I accomplish today?" ask, "How did I experience today?" Instead of measuring output, measure alignment. Did your actions reflect your values? Did you nurture something meaningful? Did you allow yourself moments of enjoyment without productivity attached? Happiness for high achievers often requires learning a new skill: enoughness, enough progress, enough income, enough validation. That doesn't mean complacency. It means recognizing that your worth is not fluctuating with your performance graph. There's another layer here. Many high achievers struggle with vulnerability. When you're known as the reliable one or the driven one, it becomes hard to admit uncertainty or emotional struggle. But suppressed emotion doesn't disappear. It accumulates. True well-being requires emotional expression, not just competence. Strong relationships, open conversations, and emotional honesty are some of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness. Not awards, not titles, not status. Connection. And here's something beautiful. When high achievers learn to balance ambition with presence, they often thrive more sustainably. They make better decisions. They burn out less. They build deeper relationships. Because they are no longer chasing worth. They are operating from it. So if you're someone who constantly feels the urge to do more, achieve more, optimize more, pause for a second. Ask yourself, what am I hoping the next achievement will give me? Security? Approval? Freedom? Peace? Then ask a deeper question. Is there another way to cultivate that feeling now? If it's security, can you build emotional resilience? If it's approval, can you practice self-compassion? If it's freedom, can you redefine your schedule? If it's peace, can you create moments of stillness? Achievement can build a life, but it cannot single-handedly build fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from alignment, connection, and internal stability. And high achievers are fully capable of that shift. In fact, once they realize happiness isn't found at the finish line, they often build lives that are both successful and deeply satisfying. Before we close, I want to leave you with this thought. Success without self-acceptance feels like running on a treadmill, but success rooted in enoughness feels like building something meaningful, step by step. If this resonated with you, if you're ambitious, but sometimes quietly exhausted, know that there is nothing wrong with wanting more. Just make sure you're not chasing more because you feel like you are less. If you found value in this conversation, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Elevate Daily. We're here for balanced growth, ambition with awareness. And I'd love to hear from you. Do you consider yourself a high achiever? And have you ever noticed that strange emptiness after reaching a goal? Let's talk about it in the comments. Until next time, stay driven, but stay grounded. I'll see you in the next one.